What's going on? Ay, 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 ay.
Are we good?
Are we good?
Awesome.
Can you hear us now?
You can hear us now.
Welcome back to the CONVO Couch, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella. See,
Yeah.
that's because you talk too much. That's
Okay,
why.
well, let me ask you a question. What do Haiti, Venezuela, Honduras, and Brazil all have in common?
They are all part of the countries we invade, install our own puppets, and start coups, which then lead to mass migrations.
Yes.
And what we know as regime change wars.
Yes, we do. And it's a it's a serious problem. And we know the non-interventionist president, Donald Trump, who is not a non-interventionist, even though he campaigned one, wants his own war in Venezuela. But I have to sneeze.
Oh. Did it go away? It's weird. I hate that.
It's like,
It
pause.
comes and goes.
It's stuck right there.
It's kind of like the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it is. It's like you got to sneeze, but it never comes, and nothing ever comes
and
out.
they promise you.
Yeah, they promise you're going to sneeze, but you don't sneeze. And we've talked about on this show, back on subject, about, and especially yourself, you've gone down to the border a ton of times, about why 80% or around 80%, 75%, whatever, but a high amount of people are coming in these caravans specifically from Honduras, correct?
Correct.
We talked about that in 2009 under the Barack Obama administration. The Madam Secretary, Hillary Clinton, supported a coup in which they removed the socialist democratically elected leader, Manuel Zelaya. We got a picture of him. He got that cowboy hat on. Look at him. we got to put that cowboy hat up. There he is. He was elected, but then he was ousted. Okay, and this is a person who wanted to have social change there. He wanted to take back some of the land and give it to the indigenous people of Honduras.
Oh, yes.
But he was stopped in his tracks so we can support a regime that has now turned the place into chaos, which has forced a lot of women and children to come to the United States. That's where these caravans are coming from, right?
Yep.
And not only did there's more, because not only did Trump support the last elections, which were once again fugazi elections in which the opposition, they cheated, and you can see U.S. backs re-election of Honduran president despite vote controversy. We also have been arming them to the T. I mean, we got to have our corporate interests, right, fam?
Of course.
So goes United States regime policy, as we know, and we know Donald Trump is not a non-interventionist. And come to today, we have our boy Juan Guaido, who is backed by the United States. Donald Trump wants his own regime change war. And Venezuela has been the target of some serious sanctions. Now, fam, a lot of people don't know about sanctions. Can you unpack sanctions? Because we understand that some sanctions really hurt the everyday people. They don't hurt the elitists, correct?
You're right. So first of all, if the United States actually wanted to help Venezuelans and cared about the people in Venezuela, we would have lifted the embargo, we would have given back the gold we stole, and then we would have stopped attempting coups. But according to an analysis from VenezuelaAnalysis.com, the Trump economic sanctions have so far cost Venezuela about $6 billion since August 2017. And that's still like backdated. It's probably more now already. So there was an analysis by a political analyst named Joe Emmersberger, written in response to an article by Torino Capital chief economist Francisco Rodriguez. Trump's economic sanctions have cost Venezuela $6 billion, and Rodriguez is well-known as an outspoken critic of the Maduro government, but even he recognizes that Washington's misguided sanctions are actually exacerbating and failing all production in Venezuela, and as such affecting the general standard of living, which is why the people are suffering under that.
The everyday people, fam. I want to make a point, because a lot of people think that sanctions are just like a small tool we use. No, it's a very harming tool we use, and we're actually almost like locking up and stealing Maduro and the Venezuelans people's money all around the world with these sanctions.
Exactly. They should be a rich country. They have so much oil.
Yes.
But this is what he was talking about, and I'm going to go ahead and quote him, and we have his quotes. The resulting loss of access to credit appears to have helped precipitate the collapse in oil output, driving the resulting economic contraction or crisis. Our point is that the spilling over of this political crisis into the arena of finance had consequences for the country's economy and for the living standard of all Venezuelans.
Yes.
Okay, and so we have this chart right here depicting how that was just like Colombia, but then there was a point where we had we see the true fall during the 2016 and most of 2017. And then once Trump came in August, the sanctions came into force. You see that decline in the production was driven by the price of oil hitting its lowest point in about a decade at the start of 2016. But once Trump came in there, it was illegal for Venezuelans and the government to obtain financing from the U.S., which was devastating for two reasons. One, all the Venezuelan government's outstanding foreign currency bonds are governed under New York state law. And one of the Venezuela government's major assets, the state-owned Citgo Corporation, is based in Texas. So the sanctions also blocked Citgo from sending profits and dividends back to Venezuela, which had been averaging about $1 billion since 2015. And so the next table just shows you pretty much the difference of what happened. It would have continued pretty much at the same rate as in the 12 months before, but once the sanctions came in, what happened was a 13% decline in production, followed by a 5% decline in 2018. So then you see the 11% decline came into 37%, and then ultimately led to $6 billion in a 12-month period, which is what it's cost them so far.
Yeah.
So we are directly responsible for
We are, and I would like to state too, not just Trump coming in, and this was a very well thought out planned thing with Guaido and the sanctions all at one time. They're trying to put a stranglehold on Maduro, weaken him, and take the country over themselves because Guaido wants to give up the oil reserves to corporate interest. What Maduro wants to do is more of what Chavez did, and that's keep the oil, nationalize the oil,
Right.
use the profits, the riches for themselves. They understand what's going on, and that's why that big sign up the other day where Maduro brought everybody to Caracas and had everybody sign this piece of paper that said they don't want America to intervene and to let the American government know that they're not going to just take this hands down. And it could be crazy in Venezuela. And also, too, I'd like to also point out that before Donald Trump came in, we were already funding the opposition under the Obama administration for many years. And before that, with Bush, we've been after that oil for a long, long time.
With Chavez.
And I think it was just that Donald Trump saw this particular invasion or coup or war or whatever you want to call it as a financial chance to gain a lot of money too as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so you say there's more.
Yes, there is more because it gets better, fam. Especially, when it comes to either ousting progressive leaders or trying to do that, Maduro, successfully doing it to Manuel Zelaya. We've done it before, and we have a very serious situation. And I've talked about it before. I said Maduro is the most popular politician in that country right now. Popular enough where he won a fair election. Okay, he does have his adversaries and whatnot, but he rightfully won. Now, you want to talk about the case of Brazil, a social leader, a man by the name of Lula da Silva has been jailed, and he's been jailed without a lot of hard evidence against him. I mean, it's been working through the DOJ in America, through Brazil, through their courts to put this man in jail. And I'm talking about, like I said, he's in line to get a Nobel Peace Prize. And his overall approving rating is beyond what Maduro's is, beyond what almost any South American or North American or Central American leader is. Lula is beloved, and they would have voted for him in this last election. And why they did this sentence is so they can keep him in jail even longer for the next election. And before Fam gives her opinion on this, can you show some of Lula's quotes? Because I know you're going to love this, Fam. This guy is just amazing. Lula da Silva, and he puts down, the true path to peace is shared development. If we do not want war to go global, justice must be global, fam.
Wow.
I mean, he has another one. Hunger is actually the worst weapon of mass destruction. It claims millions of victims each year, and that's by Lula da Silva. And fam, we just can't have a socialist leader out there running a country because...
Instead, they have Bolsonaro.
Yeah.
Which is literally the complete opposite.
Have you seen any of the Democrats stand up for this shit? I mean, this has happened. This is our DOJ working our influence within the courts of Brazil to jail a man without any serious hard evidence. I mean, they haven't even proved that he lived or owned those houses and those addresses, which they got him on corruption charges. And like I said, when they did a poll, Bolsonaro, who won the election, he got 16% of the votes when they did that poll. Lula was polling at 38% almost.
Wow.
So you can see, but they kept him in prison. Now they just added this another sentence on so they can keep him in jail for the next election. But fam, it doesn't stop there. We can't just stop with Honduras. We can't stop with Venezuela. We can't stop with Brazil, because it goes even further, because Haiti has become the newest hotspot for civil unrest tied to American invention. And it all starts back with the Petrocaribe, which is pretty much petroleum Caribbean. And it's what Hugo Chavez gave to his brothers and sisters in the Caribbean area, as well as South and Central America, where he would give them oil, the Petrocaribe, on a low priced level. And he only required them to pay 60% up front for that oil. He shared it with the Caribbean nations. And he felt like Haiti was one of those areas where he pointed out, because Haiti was one of the first revolutionary spots where Latin America really took ground. And he said the Venezuelan people owe a debt to the Haitians for what they did in leading in these movements. So he put up a fund, a Petrocaribe fund, where 40% of the assets of the money that was controlled there were able to be used periodically by the Haitians to fund any social products, whether it be schools, hospitals, roads, anything whatsoever. And Rennie Prevel in 2006 was elected the president again for a second term, and he signed in the Petrocaribe. Now, we know from the WikiLeaks documents that the United States was set against this. They didn't want anybody doing any business with Venezuela, and we've been trying to control Haiti for some time. And I have a personal connection. We all do, because we lived in Florida. I lived in South Florida. In fact, when I see it to my customers at the restaurant, I'm like, Madame and Monsieur. And they're like, oh, you're speaking French. I'm like, no, I'm speaking Creole. Because I started in the restaurants in Florida, and I had a lot of Haitian friends that worked there. But after the earthquake in 2010, they wanted to punish Rennie Preval and also get their own guy in. So after the earthquake, once again, fam, Fugazi elections, they get their guy in there. And that guy has been taking out and ciphering funds from the Petrocaribe for years. The new government that come in has been doing the same thing. And a lot of money went through the Clinton Foundation. What's that?
I was just going to ask you, who did that?
A lot of it goes to the Clinton Foundation, because Barack Obama put Bill Clinton in charge of Haiti after the earthquake, and they really went to town there, fam, the Clinton Foundation. They screwed up, as told by Hillary Clinton's emails. WikiLeaks, thank you again.
Thank you.
They're, once again, a pay-for-play scam. And the thing that really sucks about this pay-for-play scam, fam, is that they got the bids because Bill Clinton and the Clinton Foundation said only people connected to his foundation get the bids for all this work that needs to be done. We're talking billions of dollars, fam. They took the money because they were the only bids, and they didn't even do the work. They just bolted. So right now, we have some serious civil unrest. And, fam, it's looking like it could be a revolution in Haiti.
Wow.
So do we have some stuff on the streets, fam? Let's, Johnny Tsunami, what do you think? You've been looking at this all day today. You said today we got to get on Haiti because nobody's going on it yet in the news. But yet you saw some of these videos. What do you think, babe?
Yeah, it's some crazy stuff happening over there right now. If y'all want to see this, you see in the Twitter.
Wow.
Here, Haiti Info Project breaking in Port-au-Prince. Look at this protest.
Burning the flag.
Burning the American flag.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they're aware of what's going on. They understand how the Clinton Foundation has screwed them. Putting their puppets in, funneling their money. These people are running off the cops. Now, from what I hear, and I got to get a little bit more information for you, I called Florida. I spoke to my friend back there, and he says that there's progressive groups within Haiti trying to get to the table together, trying to come up with something, because what they're going to anticipate is that the State Department is going to make a move to put another one of their puppets back into play. Man.
Of course they are. Of course they are. I mean, this is what we do, and then then we wonder why people are displaced. And actually, Haitians are one of the people that have been unable to get to either Canada or the United States a lot of the time, because there's just a huge bias against Haitians. It's really, really tough. It's actually been one of the bigger stories of them trying to get into Canada and being rejected.
It's a shame too. And I live in South Florida. There's little Haiti down there. I have a lot of Haitian friends. I know about Port-au-Prince. You know, that's what a lot of these progressives are saying, that Port-au-Prince is just a place for the elites of Haiti, and it's the only place and money that goes to everything outside, all the urban areas. They're just left for Shangad. But hopefully we can get some type of revolution. We need to get a serious revolution, but United States is going to stick their nose in there whenever they can, and they've been trying to control for Haiti for quite some time. It's a beautiful paradise. It's a Caribbean country that is on the same island as the Dominican, but they're the poorest nation of all.
Yeah, exactly. They're two of the poorest nations, but Haiti in particular. And also, if you go to Tijuana, in Mexico, you will find a bustling Haitian community there. They have been taken in by the people in Tijuana. They found a home there, and there's kind of a sort of solidarity between the Haitian people and the people in Tijuana and the migrants coming in. You know why? Because all of them are literally victims of our imperialism and our regime change war. So it's sad, but I think it's definitely a reason why they have this kind of camaraderie.
Yeah, it's to be continued. And my man Johnny Tsunami is going to be out there looking for some more videos because it's raw stuff right now. We're going to be getting them up. We're going to get to Tulsi Gabbard in a second, fam, but can we get to a little commercial? You got anything else to say about this?
Wait, yeah, I got something.
You got, Johnny Tsunami. Look at this. What you got to say?
There's one more video I wanted to show.
Okay, as long as you don't say Jets suck, I'm happy right there.
It's the
stop.
The president right now of Haiti. Who's a
After a
businessman.
week of political crisis and violent protests in Haiti, which have left at least 7 people dead, there'd been no word from the president. With the demonstrations against him showing no sign of ending, Jovenel Moïse finally broke his silence, announcing he would not be stepping down.
I have listened to the people. I know what you are being faced with. That's why I have brought in a series of measures. I've asked the Prime Minister to come and explain them and to adopt them quickly so that we can end people's misery immediately. I, Jovenel Moïse, head of state, I won't leave the country in the hands of armed gangs and drug traffickers.
The latest protests have been triggered by the country's inflation and skyrocketing prices, and a scandal over development loans made by Venezuela, where billions of dollars are unaccounted for. A court report last month suggested that President Moïse had been involved in irregularities. During his election campaign, he promised food on every plate and money in every pocket. As people in Haiti struggle to make ends meet and face inflation that has risen 15% since his election, demands for the president to step down are unlikely to go away.
It's Moises Michel, and it's kind of funny because in 2010, fam, this guy is a savvy businessman who's been he's been exposed. You've been exposed, my man. They're after his ass. Get it.
You've been exposed.
That's right. But in 2010, they even had a more shadier character than this, a singer. And this guy's brother-in-law was one of the head drug dealers in Haiti. And this is the guy they put in, and they were just siphoning money. Just siphon money out of that Petro Caribe fund, taking it all. And now the people know, and that's why you'll see signs that say Petro Caribe. They understand what's going on. They understand how beautiful Hugo Chavez was. And this is the type of government we're trying to remove over in Venezuela. Maduro, a bus driver, the people's man, right? Spawned from Hugo Chavez, who gave back to the Caribbeans. They didn't have to do this. Right. Hugo Chavez chose to do this. This is a beautiful leader. Remember when he gave fucking oil and gas to people in New York who were freezing, poor people who couldn't afford it? This is disgusting, fam.
But they will vilify him. And if you talk to a lot of people here in the United States who are of Venezuelan descent, they will tell you they didn't like Hugo Chavez because Hugo Chavez was specifically a man that was poor, just like Maduro, that came into power. So what we are seeing in these, basically in these countries, is actual revolutions from the working people being stomped down by our country, who is literally fighting democratic socialism domestically, and internationally we are fighting the uprising of the working class against the elite, which is what's happening in Venezuela.
Absolutely.
And there are also racial tensions in these countries too. A lot of these people rising up are indigenous or of African descent.
Absolutely.
So
that goes for Venezuela big time because you know the Guaido a clan or a regime, or we want to talk about it, very light skinned, very white, where you see a lot of black people in the streets for Maduro, in Caracas the other day signing that piece of paper. So there is some racial tendencies hidden there as well. Fam, I know you want to get to Tulsi. You've been fired up, but can we go to a commercial break real quick?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm ready for the clapback, so let's go on break.
Where's that buzz thing?
BRB.
Here, after these messages, we'll be right back.
Come on now. They're crossing the fucking line. Don't put my marijuana.
We use those whenever we're going to high-risk warrant service or we get called out on a barricaded suspect.
Hell no! We won't go! Hell no! We won't go!
We have patients and then patient no-ones and patients wants the existing shop to stay. They don't want big companies come to the hospital. That's the main thing.
Neutralize a threat.
Ouch, that last shot hurt there. That was Johnny Tsunami's new video. Johnny, get on there real quick. Let me get your beautiful face up. Let's get a question going on. Johnny, tell us about that video, what you got made over there. What did we do? Explain to everybody what we did, what we've been going through, what we've been seeing, and what inspired that video to be so savage.
Besides 420.
I mean, Pasta went to the city hall, and I showed up with the camera, and we just found like over 50 people protesting. And I was like, what are they protesting about? You know?
Yep, they're fucking with my marijuana.
It's unbelievable that in California, in a state that's so liberal, so good with marijuana,
quote unquote.
This is happening in California.
Yeah. They're treating it like it's a drug, like it's really, really bad. They're not recognizing the patients as patients, and it is also a story about the big guy taking over the little guy. Right. But let's talk about the big girl on the block, which is my favorite, and I'm gonna go get a Tulsi sticker, fam. And I need you to unpack this because while I was reading into Haiti and Venezuela and the Petrocaribe, something was going on. Explain.
Right. So
explain.
So yet again, we're seeing as Tulsi's numbers rise, as she gets more popular, as more people are like, hey, I'm actually a Republican, but I'm going to sign up as a Democrat for the first time to vote for Tulsi because she's the only one that makes sense so far. Out of all the
Modi.
people. Well, we'll have a separate show on Modi because I can totally unpack that.
Didn't we already go over this?
We did, but I guess it's not enough, apparently. So a few days ago, Tulsi signed support for a Medicare Advantage program, okay? And the internet freaked out. Of course, once again, we're seeing that the establishment decided to go on Twitter and go on Facebook, and just a bunch of people, a bunch of progressives got scared and said, oh my God. They started posting things like, oh, Tulsi's done. She's not for Medicare for all. I'm done with her, etc. And it's just false, fam.
Oh, let's get over here. Is it true, fam?
No.
It's not true.
It's entirely false. And here's why. So we have this picture here of the several Congress people, 70% of our Congress of the United States did this Medicare Advantage letter. They signed this in regard. And what's happening is it's being conflated with a Medicare for all, which are two separate things. Okay. She supports Medicare Advantage for now to help current Medicare recipients who are all the elderly to get their medications. But she is 100% in favor of Medicare for all, which she is on her profile, unlike Kamala Harris, by the way.
Kamala Harris has nothing up, by the way.
She just has, like, things you can buy.
Endorsements from politicians that don't even know what a platform is, don't even know what she stands for, but they're going to endorse her.
Right.
If that ain't some insider shit, I don't know what is. Sorry, fam.
But
Go ahead.
She's 100% in favor of Medicare for all, which Medicare for all ultimately makes the Medicare Advantage completely irrelevant, useless, unnecessary.
Yes.
Okay?
But for now, we need it.
Right. So, in other words, the report from Axios is misleading because Gabbard is supportive of Medicare Advantage as an option under a system where the out-of-pocket expenses would not be covered by Medicare. Because, as you know, the current administration is already cutting Medicare.
Yes.
Okay? So, that's one thing. Further, if you guys don't know what Medicare is, just let me clarify. It is predominantly used by the elderly. It's also very expensive, and senior citizens often don't have the time to literally wait for medication because they're senior citizens.
Literally.
And the Medicare Advantage program does not kill Medicare for all, nor does it bolster the current system in any way, shape, or form. It simply gives assistance to those who need help and who are obviously mainly seniors or those who are disabled. And by the way, the Medicare Advantage improvements are always debated every single year in January, okay? And it's not the same thing as expanding the ACA or even upholding the ACA. Essentially, it's just it's a private health insurance industry, which is unfortunately what we have. This is the only protection that's capping the expenses for the elderly. And people are freaking out because they're falsely confusing the Medicare for all with Medicare Advantage without realizing that these are two completely separate issues and that the Medicare system, Medicare, only affects the elderly. So 80% of the people who are freaking out aren't affected by this.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's because we don't have a Medicare for all plan under the system that you have a choice. You can either buy a supplement or buy a Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare Advantage plans are often more cost effective than a supplement unless your employer pays for the supplement at the time of retirement.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in summary,
in truth,
Gabbard strongly supports Medicare for all, and she serves on the Medicare for All caucus.
Yes, she does.
In 2017, she signed as a co-sponsor on H.R. 676 and expanded the Improved Medicare for All Act, which would provide universal health care for all Americans. Okay, so she believes we should change our current healthcare system, which is organized by and for the benefit of big insurance and pharmaceutical companies and not for the people. So she thinks the Affordable Care Act was a step in the right direction, but the issues that remain with many uninsured people and high costs related to deductibles, co-payments, medical services, and prescription drugs. And other statements Tulsi has made in regards to Medicare for All include, it's time to take insurance companies out of the equation and pass Medicare for all. More than 500,000 families file bankruptcies each year that are linked to the medical issues. We need Medicare for all to prevent these tragedies. We need a healthcare system that puts people first ahead of the profits of insurance and pharmaceutical companies. I've co-sponsored H.R. 676, expanded and improved Medicare for All Act. It's time we lift millions who have fallen through the cracks and get them care. So, one more thing, fam.
Yes.
Who else signed this nefarious thing that people are freaking out about, okay? Who else signed it? Let me tell you who else. A lot of people's darlings, okay?
Who else?
Including one of my darlings, Ilhan Omar.
I like
signed
her.
this. Ted Lieu. Nanette Berrigan.
She's all right.
Katie Hill.
I don't like her.
That's a lot of delegates' favorite darlings. Katie Porter.
I don't like her either.
Adam Smith.
Damn.
Harley Rhoda.
No.
Tony Cardenas. And Adam Schiff. But my whole point my whole point in showing you all of this is that several people, and there's way more than that. These are just the highlights that of the more popular Congress people that signed it. So it is kind of a mixed bag. There are reasons why, you know, someone like Bernie didn't sign it, but saying that, you know, Tulsi should be completely like discredited and that she doesn't support Medicare for all is completely ridiculous. Kamala Harris didn't sign this. However, do you really think she's going to be supporting Medicare for all once she gets in there? No, she's not. It's just this kind of thing where, you know, she's running. And so she's saying she's supporting it, but it's not anywhere on her website. Same thing with Harley Rauda. You
Nothing
go to
on
his
her
website, it says we support access to affordable health care.
Which is code.
Which is code for not Medicare.
We're not gonna not Medicare for Adam Schiff
for brains.
Adam Schiff for brains. Fam, I think that's really what's really bothering me about this whole situation is that every time they put a little piece of red meat out there, and it happened with the Modi stuff, and I remember this conversation very well in the car. I'm like, yeah, fam, but what about the Modi stuff? And she's like, well, what are you doing? Do you know about the Modi stuff? Or are you just repeating something you heard? And I sat there, was like, yeah, I'm kind of repeating stuff I heard. And then as we dug, whatever, jumped into the rabbit hole, we understood what she was doing exactly. She hadn't supported legislation that helps Modi or anything. She simply met with him. And not for nothing, it was her job to meet with him.
And she met with the opposition as well.
As well. And that's what we want. We want people talking to our enemies and adversaries, whatever you want to call them. It's very important. And now, again, we have certain people online, not mentioning any names, who said that, you know, Tulsi signed something like this and put it out there as a negative. Why don't they just stop and look? Because this woman's character has been on point ever since she walked away from the DNC to support Bernie. Remember that. I mean,
she
was there. She did
it again.
She would. And she would likely support Bernie if he decides to run. We understand this.
We can't say the same thing about even someone like Warren. We can't trust that she's going to do that because she hasn't.
She stayed out of the game until it was time, and then it seemed evident, and then she says, I'm ready to jump into the game. That was Elizabeth Warren. We understand it. But the thing about it is that these progressives jumping on this news so quickly, I think we have to really stop before we say anything negative about a certain character that we know they've shown, they've displayed strong character before in the past. We have to look and see what's going on because there's an attempted smear across the board from mainstream media and the established against obvious. Tulsi Gabbard. Number one, she's the best on anti-regime, anti-war. She is number one, and that's
why this is happening.
Exactly, and she's even better than Bernie Sanders when it comes to Venezuela.
When it comes to regime change and foreign policy, yes, those are her strengths.
Yes.
And like, you know, like we have to stop being emotionally reactive to things without doing the research, as you were saying, like because there comes a point where people just react emotionally, and then we lose. Not only do we lose credit, and then we waste time, but then it's like, well, no, we're not getting things done. We are not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but fam, but I'm so sorry. I got emotional when I heard that Kamala Harris said she used to smoke pot and listen to Tupac. Why didn't she smoke pot and listen to Biggie?
But
what's going on with that?
Fact, we did the research and
we found out that Tupac came out 3 years after his first album came out, and Snoop Dogg came out like 4 years after she graduated college.
Kamala's like my parents'
Look it up.
There's no way that they were listening to Tupac like on that.
Show no love to Biggie. Good. I'm glad Kamala Harris didn't listen to Biggie. You don't deserve Biggie.
She definitely didn't mention him. I'm sorry, fam.
Okay, but what did you find about the Jamaican father?
We have a meme of the day. So this meme is that Kamala Harris's Jamaican father thought her stereotyping of Jamaicans for political gain was a travesty, and everyone's talking about it. He said, "My dear departed grandmother, as well as my deceased parents, must be turning in their grave right now to see their family's name, reputation, and proud Jamaican identity being connected in any way, jokingly or not, with the fraudulent stereotype of a pot-smoking joy seeker and in the pursuit of identity politics. Speaking for myself and my immediate Jamaican family, we wish to categorically disassociate ourselves from this travesty."
Well, at least he plays identity politics just like she does too as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't agree with his stance on marijuana, but that's beside the point. Like,
I know, it's just the fact that she's using it for political gain, and her own father got busted. You've been exposed, Kamala Harris. Get that shit out there, man. You've been exposed. We got you, Kamala.
Your head being over there.
What'd you smoke? Indica? Sativa? Come on, what's going on? Were you in edibles? What's going on, Kamala? You ain't no shit. Leave this. What else we got, fam?
So that's it. And I just want to reiterate about Modi. I'm going to do a special show on Modi again, because one thing I do want to clarify on Modi, nobody is saying that every single person knows the intricacies that have happened within the country and in regards to Modi. But what I am saying is that I've done enough research to know that the way we are perceiving him and perceiving people like Assad is very, very, very biased. It's westernized. It's myopic. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It is perceived in a way that is only hearing one side of the story. I am not going to say that I support him in any way, shape, or form, because I don't. But I am going to say that someone meeting with Modi.
Yeah. I'm going to support her for that.
Something Kamala Harris did, something
Yeah,
Barack
you saw
Obama
that.
did, something multiple people have done,
Yeah.
and I think is less nefarious to me than meeting with someone like Netanyahu and telling him you're going to support like Kamala
what's
has
the
done.
difference, fam?
Why is she the only one that's being, I guess, burdened with
'Cause
the
they are afraid.
the idea that, oh my God, she met with Modi, that means she's supporting these Hindu fascists. No, that doesn't mean
bullshit.
that. That doesn't mean any of that.
I don't support the man, but I support you going to meet the man. That's your job. You have to talk.
Right.
You have to come to the table with stuff, whether we like it or not. We don't control what goes on in India. You know, if Modi has some power there, then he has to be met with, and that's the bottom line. It's not like she's going in supporting the man. She just went and talked to him.
And
it's so ridiculous.
She met with his opposition, and also I think there's the reason why there's not like so much of a call out from any of the politicians that I've mentioned, is because none of the accusations that came at Modi regarding everything that you've heard about him killing people, being corrupt, all of these things that happened in India in regards to his right-wing fascism, none of them have held up in court, in Indian court, and according to the United Nations, none of them have been held up.
Yeah.
So she can't really make and say, oh, yes, this guy is this, and he's a right-wing fascist, and this and this and that. She can have an opinion, but honestly, it wouldn't be very professional to just make accusations that have not been proven, unfortunately, whether they're true or not.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing we need to stop getting emotional about. And there's just been so much hate against Tulsi. And by the way, I'm defending Tulsi because she's a progressive, number one. She's anti-war, and I've seen the media smears.
Yep.
And also, though, because I believe that she is essential to Bernie Sanders' the campaign and vice versa.
Yeah.
They need to work
She's got to be
together.
part of that cabinet if he wins.
I believe they are working together.
Secretary of State,
there's just so much. So we, as a progressive, if you're going to turn a blind eye to when someone's being ripped apart with false accusations, you are really being a hypocrite. You need to defend those people that are telling the truth, that are standing there. You need to do the research. You need to go and question everything. And I think, a lot of people are so enamored with Bernie, and believe me, I love that man. He's my guy. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot wait for his announcement because I know he's announcing, but at the same time, it's kind of like, no, like, I'm not going to sit there and watch a person get smeared simply because
well, I mean, right now she is essential to the, and I think people kind of they miss that disconnect. That's where the disconnect is. Excuse me, but she is essential to Bernie Sanders' campaign. More than likely, we've talked about and floated the idea of this woman being Secretary of State, which I think is great, and eventually she can be the president down the road, many years to come, possibly the vice president and stuff. But it's important for us to talk to all sides. Do you know who Tulsi Gabbard brought to the State of the Union? She brought a Kurd politician, and they asked her about it. So, well, did that person like the fact that you met with Assad? She goes, she doesn't like Assad, okay, because she's one of the Kurds, but she understands that it was important for me to meet with him. It's important for us to all talk, and that's why she brought her there. She's talking to all sides. This woman is by far ahead of everybody else in the pack when it comes to foreign affairs, by far, and that is a huge, huge problem within the United States. Financially, all our money goes to the military-industrial complex. We change these regimes and stuff like that. It causes an immigration problem. It displaces people. It murders people. And she is by far one of the best when it comes to this situation, fam. So therefore, that's why she has my support, because she is a true progressive, like you said.
And nobody who takes on the military-industrial complex, first of all, is usually a veteran, or it's someone actually serving, and is going to be received well by the pro-war elite who are constantly, like she says, sitting on their ivory towers, sending young men to die in rich men's wars. And those are the kind of words I want to hear from a potential presidential candidate. And that's it. And that's it. That's the truth.
I think that's a great way to end the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Convo Couch. I want you to go out there, check out our YouTube, like, subscribe, share, like us on the Facebook. We have a Twitter. The Facebooks. We have a Instagram out there now, an Instagrizzy, whatever the kids are calling it nowadays for all you hipsters.
Jesus,
it's out there, but we have it. For once again, I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella. Check us out on YouTube.
And Facebook. Convo.
Out. Bye, guys.